Alright, this is the last video. Then after this I'm going to quickly upload these. I hope you guys do well tomorrow. And I'm looking over the test, and there are, some questions I'm going to rechange up so that it, is modeling the things we went over in class. Alright, so let's talk about word problems applied to using matrices. Alright, and of course you didn't see adding and subtracting right now for matrices, but that could be something on there. And then in this case they want us to set up a system and use a matrix equation. And so let's try to do this. And it doesn't say, but I guess you would be able to use the calculator on this one. But if you notice the work, I'm trying to look, I guess I'm looking at number 2, but you can, this one you could use a calculator, because I noticed it has the inverse matrix. Alright, so here we go. When I first read this one threw me off a little bit, so I want to just show you how to be thinking towards word problems. And again, I am going to shoot one more video if I have time. That's just more word problems, and I'm also going to look at some of your textbook homework. Alright, so I'm reading this and it says, oh, I gotta do my screenshot thing. Keep forgetting that. Okay. So I'm reading this and it says, oh my god, I cut it off. Sorry, you guys. One more time. Here and there. An ice cream shop, it sells berry and mocha flavored ice cream. So in one first snippet when I was reading this, and it took me multiple passes to read it for understanding, it was really funny, I do see that I got caught up in the flavors like berry and mocha, right? But you just keep reading, but you understand that again I'm underlining that there's berry and mocha flavored ice cream. Now I keep reading. It says during 1 hour the ice cream shop sold 3 small berry and 3 large. So I would just underline this part. Then it has this and then it says they did 6 small mochas and 3 large mocha ice creams, and that's within that hour. Alright, now we'll just kind of circle that's what was happening for the small berry, large berry, and then small mocha, large mocha. Now the next one says the shop earned this much money for the sales of the berry ice cream and this much for the mocha ice cream. Alright, and we're only talking about still within that hour. Now here's the deal. I'm going to use another color. Okay. Find the cost of small ice cream, large ice cream. So as soon as, instead of me getting caught up in berry and mocha, then maybe you want me to do something with small and large. So I'm going to, again, I know it has a S and a G, right? But I'm just going to do X and Y. So for my X, I would say, hey, you're the small ice cream. So small ice cream. And then I'm letting Y be the large ice cream. And that's that. Okay? Because it's asking find the cost of a small and a large. Assume the cost is the same regardless of the flavor that was selected. So we don't care if it was berry or mocha, and that tells you right there, don't get caught up in letting X be berry and Y being mocha. Read for understanding. Alright, so now I'm thinking to myself, well, what happened in the first hour? Well, X represents my small ice cream, so I'm going to do 3X, and then that was the 3 small berries, and then I also had 4 large berries, and Y is my large ice cream. Okay, then the next thing I realized, and again that information with berry goes with this cost right there. So I'm going to set that equal to 7.25 because that was the number of berry ice cream that I sold. The next one is going to be, I had 6 small, so 6X. And then I had 3 large mochas, 3Y, and I made $8 and what? 25 cents. So there's my system right there, and I'm trying to figure out the price of a small and a large. Alright, so now, like I tried to explain about inverse matrices, because this, I guess, you would get a calculator, is we want to solve it. So when I take this information for this system, here's my coefficient matrix, 3, 4, 6, 3. Here is my variable matrix. Bloop. And then again, I ran out of room, but I'm just going to put it down here. And here is my constant matrix, which is the cost, the 725 and the 825. So now when I want to solve this, I'm just going to say, here's the X. I got to take the inverse of this. So we're going to take the 3, 4, 6, 3, put in the calculator as a 2 by 2, raise it to the -1 for the inverse, and then multiply by our constant matrix. And that's what would give us the cost. And according to what spits out, the top one is the small one. So there's 75 cents. And the large ones are $1.25. Okay? And that is how you do that one. And then you can just transfer this information written out, okay, that hey, 75 cents, small ice cream. Everybody get the point. And then here, $1.25, large. Okay, and that's that. Alright, that takes care of that one. So I'm going to close out of this. Let's do 1 or 2 more. Okay, now, for this one I want to talk about very carefully. This one is a tad bit, I'm not going to call it confusing, but it kind of is. So when I look at this one, I'm saying, hey, look, I have an X, I have a Y, I have an X, I have a Y, and then I have these numbers, right? But why is it that this little extra piece of information is there, all right? So between you and me, I basically told myself that, hey, go by position. So because you're in the upper left corner, this number is in the upper left corner, then these two guys need to be set equal to each other. So I said to myself, 3x minus y is equal to 10. Okay, then these two numbers are the same, so I'm just neglecting them. They don't even matter, right? And then over here in the bottom left corner, I have x plus 2y is equal to what's in the bottom right corner in that matrix, which is a 1. And then that was that. So you did not need the information because, again, they were identical here. You don't need this information, so you can just ignore. All right. And in this case, it just wants you to solve using any method. So to me, it's already stacked up. So I'm going to use elimination. But if you want to, you can do substitution. So if you want to manipulate one of them, get it in terms of x and y. You also could use the calculator. You could have said, hey, I have my coefficient matrix 3, -1, 1, and 2, right? And I'm going to take the inverse of that coefficient matrix and then multiply it by the constant matrix 10, 1, and that's going to give me x, y. That also would have worked too. Any method, all right? So again, the answer is already on the answer key, but in this case, they did the elimination method. They multiplied by a 2 to the top one to get rid of the y's, and then they got their answer. So the answer to this one was 3, -1. Okay, again, try it with just the calculator, see if you get the same thing. And that's that. All right, so now let's move to this bottom one. I gotta close it and open another screenshot. Is that all it is on that problem? Yeah, this is the last one, number 3. All right, then I'll end this video. All right, so now for this one, I'm gonna screenshot it. Change colors. All right, so I'm gonna read this very carefully. The interesting thing about this problem is I wondered if you could do your SAT and ACT the same way, which is why I thought this was a neat problem that they gave you. And I'm going to read it very carefully because from what I remember, I do help a lot of people with SAT, ACT. Okay, again, half the time I'm dead sleep, you know, and doing a lot of stuff. But I really want a lot of you guys to really come to me with questions and be really, really open to being more learners of math for long term, please. Okay, that's just my little soapbox over and over again. It's just let me teach you and then let's work together. All right. So one thing I do remember from standardized testing is the ones that you left blank didn't count against you. That's why I'm going to read this problem. And the ones, of course, you got right, you got points. The ones you didn't do didn't count against you. And the ones you got incorrect, you get counted against you, right? So they get minus while they're adding to you. So I feel like this would be good maybe to help you calculate your grade for the SAT or ACT. I'm going to try it out. All right, so I got Paul and Jamie. They took, what do you know, a standardized test. It says Jamie got 18 correct. He did not attempt 7, so I'm going to underline. So he got 18 correct. He did not attempt these 7. He got 5 incorrect. Paul got 20 right. 10 incorrect. So if I was setting this up, I would just tell myself, okay, I got these two people. Here's Jamie. Here's Paul. okay? And I'm just going to run it like they did, which would be that they said, hey, let's put the number correct they got, the number that was omitted, and the number that were incorrect. Okay, now if you ask me, well, Miss Mosley, how did you know to make these things here the columns and these guys the rows? I challenge you to try working it the other way. Why don't you put Jamie and Paul as the columns and then go this way and have your rows be, and then see if it works out, okay? But remember, because you're wanting to set up these two matrices and we want to multiply and figure out what their scores are, you have to make sure that those inside numbers, you know, the column of the second one and the row of the first one, you have to make sure that the numbers match. So you can play with the dimensions and make it work. All right, so let's record our numbers here. We got 18 correct for him. He omitted 7. Incorrect, he got 5. He got 20 right. He didn't omit any, and then he got 10 incorrect. All right, we're trying to figure out the score. So far I know I have this one as a 2 by 3. And that's what I was talking about. If we're going to multiply to figure out their point count, we got to get something with a 3 here. And then we don't care about the rest, but these have to match. So now when I read the rest of it, students are awarded 2 points for correct, 0 points for the ones they didn't attempt, and then -1 point for incorrect. So I'm thinking to myself with this one, I want to get a 3. So I got to have 3 rows, you see? So right here, I'm going to multiply, and I'm going to list my numbers as a column. So this must be maybe by 1. So when I do correct up at the top, that's 2, 0, and -1. Again, this is your correct, your omitted, and your incorrect. All right. And so the answer, remember I told you, it's going to be a 2 by 1. Okay, so now when I sit back and do this, remember multiplication goes row by column. So again, I'm going to show you that very carefully. So when I do this, because this one, I don't know if you can use a calculator. Maybe you could try it out in the calculator, see if you get the same thing. But what I would do is we're doing row. Let's do another color. We're going to do row, and then again by column. So I want to be very clear. The first guy gets multiplied with the first guy. So I got 8 times 2 plus, use another color. The second guy gets multiplied with the second one in this column. So that becomes 7 times 0 plus. I'm going to do one more color. Then I'm going to do this guy in the row by this guy in the column. So it's all like 1 with 1, 2 with 2, 3 with 3. I know the first time I showed it, my brain just tends to catch up with itself later. So maybe that's a good strategy to tell you. Again, 1 goes with 1, and then the second guy goes with the second guy, the third goes with the third, but I'm row by column. All right, and then we're going to sum that together later. All right, now I'm going to do colors again. I'm going to go back to blue. Again, this guy, I'm in the second row. This one is going to go with 2. So 20 times 2. Change colors. And then right here, 0 with this 0, because he didn't, and I've missed my plus sign right there, and a plus sign back there. And the last one, purple. So 10 times -1. And again, we're trying to figure out who got the best points. So which student scored the highest? So here we go. So we got Jamie. We got Paul. And again, I should get a 2 by 1 matrix is my answer. So my answer should be 2 by 1, which means I have 2 rows and 1 column. So you see, I'm going to have his score and his score for the 2, and then here's the answers. So I got, what did I do? No. I don't know. There it is. Okay, sorry. So 18 times 2 is 36. 36 plus 0 is still 36. 36 minus 5, 31. 40 plus 0 is still 40. So this guy was winning, but then all of a sudden he got 10 wrong. So 40 minus 30, I'm sorry, 40 minus 10 was 30. So Jamie won just by a hair, okay? So Jamie with 31 points. All right, and that takes care of everything. All right, guys, so study, study, study. I'm going to upload these videos now. I'll email you guys, and then again, I'll try to shoot one more video, which is over some of your homework solutions. You do not have to stress or worry too much about those other two resources, but you can look at them. They have word problems on there. And make sure you guys come and see me when you need to understand something prior to, before a test. And again, we have to try to stay on top of the lap and how quickly everything moves. All right. So good luck. See you guys tomorrow.